Welcome back, operators. I'm Raheem Kareem, and today on DevOps Get Started, we're unlocking one of the most powerful tools in your DevOps toolbox, CI/CD. CI/CD, short for continuous integration and continuous deployment, helps you catch bugs early, automate testing, and push your code to production with confidence. Up to this point in the series, we've talked about code, collaboration, environments, and pipelines. Now we're going to connect all of that into one continuous system. CI/CD. This blueprint shows how modern teams move from a single commit all the way into production, safely and repeatedly. Commit. Everything starts with the commit. In this framework, GitLab owns the commit stage. This is where source code lives. It's the source of truth. GitLab owns the Git repositories, merge requests and code review, and the webhook trigger that kicks off CI. The key idea here is separation of responsibility. Code lives in GitLab. Jenkins reacts to code, but it does not own it. That's why this works so well at scale. Build. Once a change is committed, the next step is the build. This is where Docker comes in. Docker owns packaging the application, creating immutable artifacts such as container images, and enabling build once, run everywhere. Jenkins runs Docker, but Docker is still the build system. That distinction matters, especially when you're learning CI/CD. Test. Next comes testing, and in this flow, Jest owns quality. Jest runs unit tests, integration tests, and returns a clear pass or fail signal. Jenkins involves Jest, but Jest decides whether the pipeline continues. If tests fail, everything stops. Exactly how it should. Stage. This is where Jenkins truly shines. Jenkins owns pipeline orchestration, promotion logic between environments, staging deployments, and manual approval gates if required. Jenkins answers one critical question. Is this build ready for production? That's why it sits at the center of the CI/CD decision-making process. Finally, we deploy, and Kubernetes owns reality. Kubernetes is responsible for running production workloads, scaling and self-healing, as well as rollouts and rollbacks. Jenkins triggers the deployment, but Kubernetes runs the system. Now, this is the architecture I want you to remember. GitLab owns the code. Docker owns the artifact. Jest owns quality. Jenkins owns the decision. Kubernetes owns reality. Let's break this down. Continuous integration means that every time you push new code, tests automatically run. You're constantly verifying your app. And then with continuous deployment, it means that if the tests pass, the app automatically builds and ships to staging, production, or both. CI/CD takes away the guesswork. It ensures you're never shipping code that just works on your machine. You're releasing code that's tested, validated, and ready for users. Some of the most popular tools today include GitHub Actions, GitLab CI, Circle CI, and Jenkins. But GitHub Actions is built in and beginner friendly, so we'll start there. Now that you understand the CI/CD flow conceptually, let's look at the real tools teams use to make this happen. There's no single right answer, just the right fit for where you're starting. First up is GitHub Actions. If you're already using GitHub, this is often the easiest way to get started with CI/CD. You can define workflows directly in your repository, trigger builds on commits or pull requests, and automate testing and deployment without leaving GitHub. GitLab. GitLab takes a more all-in-one approach. With GitLab CI, source control and CI/CD are deeply integrated. Pipelines are defined in code, tied directly to merge requests, and designed to support enterprise workflows from day one. Circle CI. Circle CI is another popular option, especially in cloud-native teams. It focuses on speed, parallelism, and clean configuration, making it a great choice for teams that want fast feedback loops without managing infrastructure. And of course, there's Jenkins, the industry standard. Jenkins has been powering CI/CD for years, and with tools like Blue Ocean, pipelines become visual, readable, and easier to understand. This is why Jenkins still sits at the center of so many production systems. The goal isn't to learn every tool, it's to understand the flow. Once you get that, any CI/CD platform becomes approachable. There are countless ways to automate your pipeline, and this is how you get started. CI/CD helps you catch errors before they hit production, reduce manual steps in your process, and build and deploy faster, safer, and more reliably. And remember, good CI/CD doesn't replace you, it supports you. It automates the boring stuff so you can focus on writing great code. Next time on DevOps Get Started, we shift gears and talk about quality. I will show you best practices for writing clean, maintainable code, testing it, and debugging when things go sideways. Until then, I'm Raheem Kareem, and your next build just got smarter.